Hello, welcome to this tech video tutorial about Google Classroom. My name is Clarke Andros, and I'm a recent graduate from the Single Subject Credential program at Cal Poly. First, I want to share an overview of Google Classroom. One thing you're going to find is that Google Classroom is the Swiss Army knife of teaching tools. The integration of Google Classroom into the whole Google Suite platform allows for seamless movement from program to program. Your entire drive is linked, so it becomes easy to stay organized and post documents, slideshows, videos, forms, and much more from your Drive folders. It is easy as well to navigate from class to class. If you have 180 students like I do, then you know that that is key. The scheduling feature on your Google Classroom will allow you to stay ahead of the game by scheduling posts in advance so you don't have to scramble right before class to get information to your students. This is also helpful in the day of online learning, as posts can launch right as class starts, so eager students don't complete the work early and check out for the virtual part of class. Google Classroom Stream acts as the information bulletin board for your classroom, allowing you to post encouragements, updates, and links to your students. Lastly, maybe the most time-saving feature of the program is the grading interface available with Google Classroom. The arduous process of grading stacks of paper assignments is streamlined by allowing easy navigation between student work, as well as an intuitive messaging capability that allows teachers to edit, comment, and carry on collaborative discussions with students. What I'm going to do now is I have linked my example classroom here at the bottom. So I'm going to click on that. That's going to bring us to a Google Classroom here. This is mine. This is my Google Classroom for my office hours. So we're going to see that there are no students in this classroom. One big reason for that is I want to keep my students private. So I don't want to give away any of their information. So we're just going to go from the bare bones setup of this Google Classroom here. All right. So one thing that's great is if you have to give your code to invite students to your class, this is your class code up at the top. This is a code that you would give them. They could use it. They go to the app. They click on Google Classroom, and then they join a class, such as, let's see here. I go here. I could look here, and I click the Add button. I could join a class, or I could create a class. So let's say I clicked Create a Class, and it was this one right here, this office hours, okay? I come in here, this is my stream. Right here is that bulletin board that I was talking about. See, we have a message going out to all my fans. Hello, it's me, Mr. Andros. If only I had fans, right? So I could send it to all students. I could also send it to multiple classes here, so that if I have, like me, I have 6 classes that I might need to communicate with. I can write a message, and then I can post it, or I can even schedule that to go out maybe the morning that class starts. I can really get ahead of my work. So that's kind of the stream there. And you'll see that your assignments pop up. You can click to edit, move to the top. So if I wanted this to be the most important aspect of my stream, I would move it to the top. And now workbook for chapter 1, which is a fake assignment that I created, is now complete. The next window is the classwork. This is where you can create. So I might click create. Let's say I want to post a PDF, right? So I would click on material. I would say photo workbook. Go into here, go into my Google Drive. I'm going to go into my Drive. Oh, look, there's my Aperture Onsite workbook. It's in my recents. I would insert, right? Because with informational materials, you don't have to make a copy for each student because they just have an access to the PDF. And let's just say I want to create a topic, and that topic is workbook, right? I can also push this out to other classes. Now, the difference here is if I want to schedule, which would be in this window where I would schedule, and let's say I want it to be pushed out on the 29th at 8 a.m., so I would schedule that. In order to schedule an assignment, see, I can no longer, because it's scheduled, I cannot push it out to multiple classes. You would have to schedule it for each class. The assumption there is that each class starts at a different time, and that would just be too complex to push it all out together, okay? And click schedule, and that saves that assignment to go out then, and that's what's gonna happen, all right? Now let's say, oh man, I made a big mistake. Didn't wanna do that, easy. Just delete the posting, it'll be deleted. All right. Now, there we go. If I want to add people, that's our next one. So classwork, and let's say we want to create an assignment. That's different because that actually has a grade. So let's say it's worth 10 points. And let's say I want to push it out to all these other classes. I can create a due date here. Say it's the 30th, and I do all my stuff at midnight for my students. And then let's say here, oh, it's going to be in the journals document. It's taking topics from other classes that I have. So I have assessments, classwork, distance learning, office hours, photo projects. It's obviously borrowing that from my other ones. I could write a description here, and then assignment title up here. I can attach, I can add. I can also do a rubric. If I wanted to, I could create one, I could reuse one, I could import from Sheets. So if I wanted to create a rubric here, so you have your criterion title, criterion description, points, level title description. Some people use that. I don't particularly do that. I do all of my rubrics on a PDF, and I just attach the PDF if that's what I'm going to do. All right, so that's how you post an assignment. Let's go over here. Oh, obviously here you can see that you have integration of Meet, Google Calendar, Class Drive folder. Keeps everything really nice and organized. People. Let's say you want to invite people. You could type in names. So let's say I wanted to invite Mary Corey, my master teacher from last year. I would click on her email and I could click invite. Now I'm not going to do that to her because she has plenty going on. She has her own 6+ classes to go to, so I'm not going to do that to her. One thing that's been really beneficial for our campus is we have been able to add aides as teachers so that they can help their students, SPED students, better understand, or they have better access to the information in my Google Classroom. So I can invite that teacher. So Megan Mitchell would be mine, right? That's one of the aides that I work with here at Atascadero High School. I could send it out to her, and then she could be a teacher and have the same administration responsibilities as I do. And then you got grades. Obviously, I have no students, so this window's not going to pop up, but this is where you would get to see a breakdown of all the grades in the class. Okay, so let's take a look real quick at what it would look like if I had students to grade. What would happen here is I would have all my students listed out, those that turned it in first, and then those that are missing. So one, it allows me to see, okay, who's doing the work, and then who's missing the work. That would be all listed here, and then you can navigate through them over here, and you can just grade. There's a messaging platform. I'm sorry that I can't show you that intricately, but it is really intuitive, and I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to be able to navigate Google Classroom just fine, okay? We have this nice queue here of stuff that's due, stuff that's coming up, and that is kind of a good overall review of Google Classroom. So I'm going to minimize this window, and I'm going to get back to the presentation here. Now, I'd like to share a quick example of using Google Classroom in my classroom. I'm going to kind of talk through it, and I'm going to show you a video from my virtual classroom of me talking through it. How's it going, everyone? This is Clarke Andros, and you've been watching my Google Classroom technology presentation. This great piece of technology has really impacted my first year of teaching. It has saved me so much time, and in what is a chaotic year, it has really saved me. So I'm more than happy to share about it. I thought for this feature, it'd be nice to invite you into my virtual classroom, allow you to see this is where I teach from, this is what my kids see every day, for when I share a little bit about my time with Google Classroom. So the biggest feature for me, and one that I outlined earlier, is the scheduling on Google Classroom. I have 2 preps. They fall on different days, and I have a hectic schedule keeping up with this distance learning. I have 4 periods a day. They alternate each week. So being able to stay ahead of my planning and how I push out my assignments has been key. Something else I've found in the distance learning world is that you have some students that are just go-get-em students. They're happy to get their work going, and they've been searching for something to do. They're stuck in their houses. They want stuff to do, so they'll actually grab assignments and do them early. Now, that could be your intention, but for me, I like to have my students working in class collaboratively. So it allows students to, with the scheduling and keeping it until the start of class, nobody ends it early and then checks out from the virtual part of class. Another great thing about the scheduling and just the overall platform is the diversity of materials that you can post up for your students. It allows you to get video links, presentations, slide presentations, all of that up on Google Classroom, so you can go through and check it and you don't run into any issues. Another thing that's nice about the platform as well is in issues of equity. In my district, we have a lot of students that have very poor Wi-Fi. Equal access, we don't have equal access across the district. So having a well-organized Google Classroom with all my resources listed with steps and easy to correspond platform, it makes it so simple for me to connect with my students if they've missed class because of Wi-Fi problems that they had. It allows us to reconnect them to keep up with the pace, and it kind of evens the playing field on all my students, regardless of internet connectivity. So I have so much more I could say about Google Classroom, but this video kind of just sums up my experience with it so far. It's been a huge benefit to me, and I know it's going to be a huge benefit to you as well. Thanks. All right. Thank you for learning about Google Classroom. I hope you've enjoyed this technology video tutorial from the School of Education at Cal Poly.